Subscribe here, comment your life here, stream here, cry here, know I'll be right here. Yo, what's up, y'all? It's Treasur Necole, your favorite Scorpio, and you are now tuned in to Inside the Chess Podcast, my new podcast, Inside the Chess. And I really want to call it our new podcast, right? Because when it comes to the name of it, when we talk about inside the chest, we talk about inside our hearts, right? I remember coming up with this name, and it actually came from a time where I was trying to elevate my career in a way where I was trying to raise money to work with a legendary producer by the name of Moet. You guys may best know him from the song by Diddy and Nas, Hate Me Now. But I named the show Inside the Chess, and I did that because I knew when I was performing in that moment that I would be laying my heart out. I would be laying my soul out, because it's not like I had a bunch of money. It's not like I wasn't really relying on my past resources. I was really kind of trying to move forward into a new step, kind of like what we're doing right now with the podcast, right? And it ended up working out for my good. I ended up meeting one of the coldest producers that I know personally, and it just opened up so many doors. And I know that he's watching, so shout out to Moet. And I just really want to go into this, guys, by you getting to know me and me getting to know you. Think of this as our first date, where you don't really tell the other person everything all at once. You kind of give them what you think they'll like or what you think they'll be interested in. And I think I'm kind of gonna be, making mistakes in this. I'm not gonna be perfect in this. And this podcast is not meant to be perfect. It's meant to be imperfect, because when we look inside ourselves, we don't find someone that's perfect. We find someone that's, I know when I'm personally speaking about myself, someone that's emotional, someone that's headstrong, someone that can go from 0 to 100, right? In every way, creative way, emotional way, all those things. And so it's going to be some stuttering, it's going to be some hiccups, but it's going to be some laughs. We definitely going to drop some knowledge on each other, and just how we can really get in tune with ourselves. Because I feel like if we make a community a safe place where we can be free of what somebody will think about us, or we can be free of, if we say this, will we be looked at in a way that we may not really prefer. But I really just want to get inside of your heart while you get inside of mine, right? So welcome, guys, to Inside the Chess Podcast.
Mia, go crazy.
Let's talk, let's walk through the topic. Seats so hot, just like the tropics. It's all love, so please don't stop it. Inside our hearts is where we started. I'm here to listen to your problems. You're here to find a way to solve it. Oh dear, can I just be honest? This here gon' be the best, I promise. Like here, subscribe here, comment your life here, stream here, cry here, know I'll be right here. Welcome back, guys, to Inside the Chess Podcast. Now, that song you guys just heard, right? That is the official theme song for the podcast. You can find that on my Instagram, and it's available to stream, guys. So that goes into us just kind of getting to know each other, right? Because I know it's some people watching this podcast like, wait, hold on, you sing or you do this, you do that? Hell yeah, I do all of that, right? So let's talk about it. For those of you who are just meeting me in this space, I am a singer, a songwriter. I write poetry. I play the drums. I model. I'm an actress, and I'm a host. Wow, right? All that stuff, but it's really the truth. There's a saying where it says jack of all trades, master of none, but I can't relate to that, right? Because I feel like I am a master in every day. I try to master what it is that I'm doing to become the master of all the things that I'm doing. So right now I'm sitting in front of you in my host bag with my host hat, right? And I kind of want to combine all the art forms because I know I have a lot of creatives watching, and I want us to all be able to relate to one another no matter what it is we do, whether we are recording other people or we tattooing or whatever it is that we're doing. I want us to be able to come here and be able to relate to one another. So I'm excited, y'all. I'm mad excited. And I kind of want to start with just continuing to kind of telling you a little bit more about myself. Um, I just turned 30 not too long ago. And I don't know about y'all, but when you reach over that 30 hill, there's like a light switch that goes off, right? You know, when we was in our 20s, man, we was lit. And I know I got some watchers and viewers that are maybe even teenagers and in their early 20s, right? And I can say y'all the youth is truly like wasted on the young, and we're still young. I'm sitting here 30 saying the youth is wasted on the young, and we got 60 and 70-year-olds saying that, right? But it just shows like we got to learn more how to like live in the moment. You know, I think when we were kids, we were doing, I know me, I can only speak for myself. We were doing all kinds of stuff, right? We were kind of testing out, and it kind of, the things that we experienced kind of shaped our personality, right? But whatever it is that we done, how amazing is it that all of our different experiences brought us right here, brought me right here in front of you, right? So let's start back at one, which is the name of this episode, Back at One. And if you know, you know. When I talk about me being a singer, guys, I started in the church and I expanded to when I was able to choose my own interests. And I went on to do R&B. And one thing about the title of these episodes is they're all going to be like some legendary R&B songs. And if you know, you know, Back at One, the Brian McKnight cut. Oh, free promo right there for that song, right? The Brian McKnight cut, Back at One. But I can relate to that so much, you guys, because in this space, I feel like I'm starting back at one. I feel like even though I've had lots of experience in front of the camera, in front of people, whether it's speaking or singing or acting or doing whatever it is by translating who I am as a person, I still get that nervous feeling, you know, not really knowing what side to put the fork and knife on, right? Kind of trying to make sure that I don't get my clothes dirty while I'm eating. And with the metaphor of saying, there are going to be some things that I say on this show where, you know, it may not be the most political, it may not be the most proper, but we're going to get down to it. And that brings me to what brings me here to you, and that's my story behind Urban Grind.
Yeah. Yeah, money make the motion, got hood make the money. And bitch, I'm from the trenches, I'm trying to see 100. Ain't never been a bitch, you can't take nothing from me. And when I was a youngin', I swear I stayed on me. I'm on a mission, got me cooking in the kitchen. Bitch, I leave my pots dirty, let my hype scrape the dishes. I'm familiar with that dope, and I know that rutabaga. You ain't get no money if you don't keep a group of haters.
Welcome back, y'all, to Inside the Chest podcast. As you know, I'm Treasur Necole, your favorite Scorpio, and I'm glad y'all came back, right? Because you know, when we watching our different TV shows and we're listening to our different radio shows, when it's a commercial, we turn it down, right? Or we turn the channel. But you guys came back, and I already know that's because that commercial was so awesome, so lit. It was a 290 Mo podcast commercial, and it is where we are housing this show that you guys are watching. So it's very important. It's very special. A shout out to 290 Mo. It's so crazy how life goes and how things go. How when certain things happen in our lives, we don't really understand why. And then something else happens 2-3 months later, and we look back and say, okay, so that's why that happened. And I think when we talk about it in that form, it leads me to give you guys a story. And not even a story, it's really just a real life, what I like to call a chapter out the story, right? And that's my chapter that I had, where I was a former host at a platform known as Urban Grind TV. And some of you watching this may know me from that platform. And I'm so glad that you decided to come back and really fuck with your girl with what I'm doing, right? And so what happened on Urban Grind is so many different versions, as it always is about a story, right? But when it's being told from what they would call the horse's mouth, right? The person who was there, the person who experienced it, it just starts off in a way of, when I first got to Urban Grind, it was so funny how I got there. I was actually an artist that they were interviewing. And one of the hosts that interviewed me was saying, hey, the radio show that I'm at, they need more female hosts. They're looking for more women to come in and kind of change the dynamic of the station. And I think that you will be perfect. And I'm like, okay, like I never really done radio anytime before that. And this was 2 years ago. This was a little over 2 years ago. But I knew how I felt when I got on the mic, when I sang. I knew how I felt when I was acting in certain plays or in certain ways where I was using my voice. So being in radio for me was just another way for me to use my instrument, right? And so I sent in an audition tape, which I had found out that they didn't even watch, right? I had did the tape at my friend AD's house at the time, and they didn't even watch. They didn't even watch the audition tape. I guess they just used their best judgment from when they saw me and when I started just coming around trying to learn the ropes of things before I really made the decision to be a host. And when I made the decision, I learned so much in that space. I learned how to listen. I learned what to ask. I learned how to respond without speaking. All those little different key things that you kind of learn in an environment like that. But I think what separated me from it were was things that maybe needed a change, right? And I won't say maybe need a change, right? Because now I'm feeling like all political, right? When I'm saying, oh, we need a change, right? Definitely needed to change. Needs to switch some shit around, right? And when I talk about that in that space, I don't mean any of the people that I worked with. When I tell you that I had some of the best hosts alongside of me in my former show that I had called Girl Talk, and those of you who are watching right now, y'all have seen Girl Talk, and y'all have followed me from there. Girl Talk was a place where I had brought a panel of women and we just talked. We talked about everything. We talked about toxic relationships. We talked about zodiac signs and all these other different things. And of course, we're going to talk about those things here too, but we're definitely going to expand some more. And I loved working in that space, but I think it got to a point where when you begin to grow outside of whoever had put you in position feels that you should, so you get bigger than what they even imagine, it becomes kind of intimidating. It becomes kind of a struggle for power. And I think what happened in that space was when you struggle for power, you begin to try to appear to be stronger than the person that you're struggling with, right? So whether that be the way that you speak to them, whether that be the way that you treat them. And I think in this situation, I kind of did not like, in better words, how things were being communicated. And there's a saying, right, where they say you want to know who someone really is, you get them mad. Or not necessarily you get them mad, but when you see somebody mad, you see parts of them that maybe they didn't show before and things like that. And I feel like it got to a point where the respect was thin. And sometimes when you have a good thing, you take it for granted, right? Like even us breathing, we take air for granted, right? We take water for granted, but we also take people for granted, right? And I think I was just in a space where I had got bigger than what they expected and what I expected, right? And because it was happening in that way, I had required certain ways that I should be treated, certain ways that I should be talked to, and those requirements weren't met. So in that space, that's what caused me to separate. So for everybody who wants to know, hey, what happened to Urban Grind? Because I will say that it was a very abrupt stop. It was like talking to somebody you really like and then going ghost. And not knowing that person, not seeing that person, all of a sudden running into that person at the coffee shop. Well, this is our coffee shop. You're running into me again. I'm running into you again. And isn't it so funny when you run into like one of your exes, or you run into a new person that you like, and you know you finer than you ever been, right? I know y'all can definitely feel that. And so I'm in that space. I'm in that space with you where, yes, I had a past at Urban Grind, and a lot of the listeners that are watching and listening right now, a strong percentage of those people could be from that audience, and I appreciate that, right? But we're creating something new here, and we're going to do it in the most authentic and unique way.
On the beat.
I don't wanna come off as regular, but I know what you want, I know what you want. Someone you can love without extra, yeah. There's no need to front, we all need that one. Like someone who knows just when to call, yeah. Not a player, but know how to ball, yeah. Listen to me cry, then eat it all night, yeah. Treat me like a hottie. Learn all of my body. And make me feel real naughty. Only for you, I'll do it for you, yeah. Oh yeah. Oh yeah. Oh
Welcome back, y'all. For those of you who are just tuning in right now, I encourage you to go back to the top of the episode and just really see where we're at on our date, right? Where we're at on our date. Like, if I was to describe it, this would be the time where, like, we're full, or maybe this will be the time where we're eating our meal and we're enjoying it and we're thinking about dessert, right? So I think in this point, I want to introduce something to y'all. It's like we're looking at the menu, the sweets menu, right? I really want to introduce like a name, a personal name for my listeners. What do y'all think about chessmates? Hear me out. Inside the chessmates, wordplay to like checkmate, all that good stuff. Come on, y'all. Y'all know when we dive into our minds, the possibilities are endless. But please put in the comments if you like that name, chessmates, because I want this to be so intimate for us, and I want us to build a community where we're like, yo, ain't you a chessmate? Like, what's up, chessmate? However it is that you welcome someone, however it is that you welcome other people or invite other people to this channel. If you watching this right now, you are officially a chessmate and ain't no going back. You a chessmate, right? You and me. And that leads me to talking about spirituality, right? And it's like, whoa. We jumping right into it, right? But the reason being is because, guys, when I was speaking to you about the urban grind situation, and I was talking about growing outside of expectations, whether they be the personal ones that you may have had or the ones that they may have had that you had for you that you may have grown out of. That's part of your spirit growing. That's part of you developing. And I feel like the more we know, the more it shows, right? Like, you begin to exude that light and exude that energy, and sometimes that annoys people who may have a undercover darkness or cloud of secret jealousy or envy or whatever that may be. Am I saying that situation was stemmed from jealousy and envy? No. But what I am saying is that when our spirits do start to grow, when we really tap into our spiritual selves, we begin to like unlift that veil where we can kind of see people for who they are, and we can see ourselves to the point where we're like, yeah, I'm gonna accept that and I'm not gonna accept that. And I just want to hear from y'all, right? Like, let's just say you had everything you needed in a situation. You had in the physical form, but maybe it was lacking in the form of feeling appreciated or feeling respected. Would you still kind of continue on because of what you saw in front of you? Or would you leave that situation because you know it's something better ahead, right? Because sometimes when we can't see the future, we like to just stay stuck in our present when it should be our past, right? So that goes real deep, right? And I think I can't sit here and say I wasn't scared. I can't sit here and say I'm not scared right now in front of you doing this podcast, right? In a new home with a new platform, but if I didn't step out on it, I wouldn't even be sitting here in front of you. So even of all the things I did at Urban Grind, the way that the numbers went up over there, the way that we built a community of strong women, we're going to do the same thing here, but it won't just be for women. It won't just be boxed in. It's going to be for everybody. It's going to be for my guys, my girls, and all of us collectively as chessmates. So y'all, going back into that spiritual aspect, as I told you guys, I'm Treasur Necole, your favorite Scorpio. And we know that like astrology and numerology and all that stuff as aspects of the spirit. So I don't know if y'all super deep into this, but I want y'all to put I want to see who ears I got right now. In the comments, guys, I want you to put your big three. And what your big three is, for people who don't know, it's your sun sign, your moon sign, and your rising. I want to see who I'm talking to. I want to see what mindset my chessmates are in, right? I can personally give you guys mine. I'm a Scorpio sun. I am a Gemini rising, and I'm a Sagittarius moon. So all those things, people are like, oh, AKA psychopath. But you know, that helps, right? That helps with us creatively and all of that. And even when we talk about us being artists, right? And we get into those alter egos. Like, I know, like, when y'all listen to my music, you search up the word, you just search up my first name, which is Treasure, right? But when you look into the magazines and you see me published in different magazines, you see my first and last name, which is Treasure Right, right? But here, you're meeting me and it's Treasur Necole. But fun fact, all three of those are my name, right? In real life. But we kind of pull from certain areas, right? We pull from certain areas depending on what it is that we're doing. And going back to my urban grind situation compared to, well, and I don't even want to say compared, right? I don't even want to use the word compare because we're not comparing. We are only elevating. We are only progressing. But when I think about the urban grind arena that I was in, I understand that there's no way that I could be here with you had that not happened. No matter if I didn't like how it happened, if I didn't like what was going on. Like, sometimes we have to go through shit that's just sucks in order to get where we need to be. And I really feel like I'm where I need to be with y'all, no matter what sign you are, no matter anything like that. For my numerologist, for my numerology heads, I've been seeing the number 111 a lot. I've been seeing that so much. I almost see it almost every day. And I actually just bought a chain, a 111 chain that I didn't wear today. I wore my Scorpio chain today. But I wear next episode. So if you tune in and you come, you say, Treasure, you said you was going to wear the 111 chain. I'm going to wear it on episode 2. So I want you guys to come back, right? But when I looked up what 111 meant, it focused primarily on new beginnings. And it was such a coincidence for me because that's what I'm doing. Y'all don't know this, but I just cut all my hair off, right? Not saying that I had like 40 inches, right? But we made a transition, right? We made a transition in our physical appearance because they always say a girl cuts her hair when her heart is broken, right? But I think in the same sense, we kind of cut our hair with a sense of just feeling free. And that's what I want to give you guys, an escape of reality, right? And I don't know. I'm just so excited. And y'all are going to watch this first episode and say, baby girl is low-key rambling, but she's saying something, right? And I know that. I know that. But when we come back, y'all, we are going to just make it all make sense. We are going to fix all this mess inside our chest, right? And I just can't wait. So next voice you're gonna hear is mine again, right? It's mine again, y'all, because I'm singing, I'm doing all this. I gotta show y'all everything. I gotta show y'all all that. And we'll be right back. You guys, I want you all to email me your questions as you watch the show, as you listen to what we're talking about at insidethechesspodcast@gmail.com or DM me on my Instagram at insidethechesspodcast. I love to hear from you. And listen, I read every comment, I read every email, and I'm going to shout you out too, because this is not just a show for me. It's a show for us as a community. So let's go inside the chest.
Like here, subscribe here, comment your life here, stream here, cry here, know I'll be right here.
Chessmates, y'all like that. Y'all like that. I know y'all like that. Chessmates. So it's official. We're the chessmates. Listen, before I go any further, guys, because time flies when you're having fun, right, I really want you all to follow our Facebook, follow our Instagram at Inside the Chess Podcast. And really leave your thoughts about how you feel when you heard this podcast, when you watched this podcast. We want to hear from you, because there's going to be a time where we go back and we interact with you, with what you guys are saying on the media, to show that this ain't just my show. This is our show. This is our hearts that we're laying on the line. And if you ain't ready to be emotional, if you ain't ready to be truthful and honest with yourself, this is not the place for you. But if you ready to dig deep and get that shovel and show those scars, show that shine, all of that, I'm yours and you're mine, right? And I don't want us to feel like when we leave a certain situation that we have to feel bad about that situation. Like when I think about Urban Grind, I genuinely don't have a bad taste in my mouth. If anything, Urban Grind was like that ex-boyfriend that prepares you for your husband, or that ex-girlfriend that prepares you for your wife, or whatever the case may be. You may not be with that person anymore, but you learn so much from them. And when you get into a new space with your new person, you thank them, because without those lessons and without those situations and without those, even some of those problems and some of those positive things that take place, this wouldn't be that, right? So just wrapping it all in one, right? Because this is the part of the date where the check comes, right? Where we're looking at the check and we're seeing how much we took in. We're seeing how much it is that we drank or we ate, but in this case, what we listened to and what we were seeing in each other. So I want you guys to continue to get to know me as I get to know you. No, I didn't tell you everything, but what if I tell you everything now? We won't have nothing to come back to, guys. So I want you to come back, chessmates, and please be so active on our social medias. Shout out to 290 Mo Podcasts, and shout out to everybody who is taking place of the success of what I believe will be the #1 podcast in the world, Craig. That's what we going for. And that goal scares the shit out of me, but that's good, because if it don't scare us, what the fuck are we doing, right? So let's tap in, y'all. Let's tap into the mind, the heart, and the soul on Inside the Chess Podcast. I'm Treasur Necole, your favorite Scorpio. And we starting back at 1. But we ain't done. I'll see you soon.
Like here, subscribe here, comment your life here.